Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the number RW570US26D dust strike holder, satin chrome. I have one removed from the packaging, and here it is. The only thing I'm going to point out, in their part number, they say satin US26D. This is not satin chrome. I mean, it's certainly chrome look, but this is made of aluminum. It's aluminum with a brushed finish, so it's a quite complementary satin chrome, but it is aluminum, and that is our accurate representation of the finish right there. So this dust-proof strike is nice because it is all possible dust-proof in one, and here's what I mean by that. So you've got this really large faceplate here. Overall width, about 2 7/8. Overall height, about 1 3/8 inches. Overall depth, 2 1/8. Now, why is it all dust-proof strikes in one? Let's check that out. So this dust-proof strike is going to be able to be used in an application where you're going to mortise it to a floor. Would not be uncommon to have a wood floor application in a home where you have doors, well, any home. Doesn't have to be high-end, and where you have pairs of doors that might separate a dining room from a kitchen or a hallway or from a cross corridor. It would be typical that these doors would be about 18-inch wide. Active door. Well, the inactive door probably has flush bolts, and you probably have a wood floor. This would be really great because you could mortise this down into the floor so that it's flush. Surely is awfully long, and yes, indeed, you're going to need to come up with a pretty deep hole that's probably going to go through the subfloor and into the basement down below in a residential application. But nonetheless, it is typical in that application. Outside diameter of the body itself is about 0.966. Now, let's say that you have an action that is not a wood floor. If you have a concrete floor, same situation. You might just end up obviously surface mounting that floor plate and not attempting to mortise it. If you have an application that would be a threshold, you're certainly not going to mortise anything flush in a threshold application. What you would end up doing would be what I'm doing, unthreading that faceplate. Not just this. In your packaging, you're going to get a variety of additional pieces. Namely, you're going to get I'm quite sure that's aluminum. That's a threaded nut. In a threshold application, you would mark your hole, drill your hole through the threshold, mark your hole into the subfloor, then attach this literally into your threshold, bring your nut up underneath. Now that's going to be your installation. Okay, you get how that's going to work. Okay, and you will thread that underneath your threshold. A couple of small holes there. You've got a spanner wrench. Don't know that I would call this a spanner wrench. I can't. The proper name for a tool like this escapes me, but you'll be able to then tighten that down. Okay. Threshold. So, regardless of the floor type, wood, you get a couple of screws, catching it. Concrete, a lead anchor with a machine screw. A couple of plastic anchors, should you need those as well. Okay. Now, there is a link below this video to the installation instructions that give us the overall dimensions, and they do also tell us mortise plate into the surface if you're doing it that. Drill a 1 1/4 diameter hole, 2 3/16 deep. 2 3/16 deep. That would make sense. Drill your 2 holes for your screws, whatever that might entail, plastic anchors or lead anchors. Place the anchors into the holes or grout it into the floor, however you're installing it. They don't give any specific instructions in terms of hold application, but it is as we outlined earlier. You're still going to drill that, so you're just going to use this nut to secure it to the threshold. It's a very common application as well. It's called a dust-proof strike. Why is that? Because there's a spring inside that prevents the accumulation of dust, dirt, and debris in the hole. Okay. It's very common for hardware to discontinue operating correctly when the hole for the strike or the flush bolt or whatever it is, the bolt is clogged. Hardware can't project as it should otherwise do so. It would be problematic. If you have fire-rated doors and you're not latching properly, not technically, you don't have a fire-rated door at that point. So be mindful to use a dust-proof strike when it makes sense for your application. A very common question we get is what's the ID, because people want to know if they can stick something into there like the bolt, deadbolt. And the ID of that hole, 742.742 is the ID. OD of that ring is 1.25 1.254. Okay. Available from Richelieu in the satin chrome and a brass finish. I would admit the brass finish is going to look like this. Again, made of aluminum. It is an item that you are certainly going to use in not only the aforementioned residential applications, but you're really good commercial applications. And in particular, you'll always see it at the shopping mall. You know, malls provide access to everything. You will very often obviously have pairs of doors, locations, and that inactive door, and there's generally not exit devices on those doors, but that inactive is going to have a set of flush bolts lots of the time, and the ability to elegantly close that off using a dust-proof strike is what will keep a neat and clean overall, not only for the proper operation of the hardware, but also a clean, neat appearance that the property owner would like. The landlord is of the mall, let's say, etc. Finally, there is a link below this video to the menu page where you can pull up not only all of the Richelieu products that we sell, but also the manufacturer's website, as well as link to the full product catalog. Any questions on the Richelieu, number RW570US26D dust-proof and satin chrome, or any other Richelieu product, please feel free to reach out to us. And